Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here, this time reviewing on issue 4 of Superman 78. Now, as you know, Superman 78 is meant to be the comic book continuation from Superman 1 and 2, as well as featuring the appearance of Brainiac. Now, the cover has an image of Lex Luthor and Lois Lane looking on from the bottled city of Kandor, or Krypton. And the story starts off with Brainiac remembering back on the planet Colu, which was Brainiac's homeworld, him suddenly collapsing, and kind of revealed to be an android-like creature, and him sort of keeping track of all catalogs. And we see how on Krypton, Jor-El mainly gives a toast to his son, saying, "In tradition of our people, in my place will stand the heir to the House of El, my son, Kal-El." And of course, we see how everyone tries to grate him. Some argue about housing and other things. We see one of them saying, "Have you thought about a union? The House of El and the House of Jor will make a fine match." And you can kind of tell Superman feels more like an outsider and an outcast, as these are his people that he hasn't seen in so long. And of course says, "Here's to me," but of course can't drink from wine glasses, and admits that he's more used to Earth, and mainly comes from Smallville, as he knows Smallville was his true place. And you can kind of tell Jor-El knows it's going to be difficult to accept. And we see how at one of Lex Luthor's hidden places, he's placed a device on Superman and knows how to bring him back. So of course, he planted it on him, giving a sort of ace up the sleeve. And of course, uses a special broadcast system to get to Brainiac's ship. We see how it ends up on Brainiac's bottled city, which is Kandor. And of course, we see how Superman isn't used without his powers, and we see how Superman gets a transmission from Lois saying, "Superman, it's really you. Why'd you change your hair? Lois, where are you? How are you here? I thought I'd never see you again." And they point out they got help from Lex Luthor, but Superman knows that Lex is quite crafty and knows something's up. And him saying, "Lois, hang up right now. If this is one of Luthor's schemes..." And of course, it's kind of clear that Lex Luthor's plan to bring Brainiac back to Earth. And of course, finds out where the transmission is, and decides to deal with Earth properly. And we see Lois saying, "I don't understand, Superman. Aren't you happy to see me?" "Of course I am, Lois. You can't imagine how much." But you can tell he knows it's dangerous in that. But of course the transmission breaks up, and we see how Lois asks where'd he go in that, but we see how Lex Luthor's planned this out, and plans to prove to the world that he's better than Brainiac, showing that he doesn't really care what happens to Metropolis. And this is where Brainiac will try to shrink Metropolis and be a part of the bottled city. And we see how Lois is understandably angry, saying, "You said you'd bring Superman back. A lot closer than he was before, isn't he? I've got a story to cover. It's Luthor, with an O and R." And we see how Jor-El pretty much finds out where the transmission come from, and we kind of see how Lex Luthor's plan to deal with Brainiac and show the world he's better than Brainiac. And of course, we see how he plans to shrink the city and starts away. And of course, we see how Jor-El says, yes, alpha waves, of course. This is the product of quite an intelligent mind." Please don't ever tell him that. And I like how Superman's saying, like, don't give him the satisfaction. So of course they're going to need Superman's help in that, but you can tell Laura's a bit against it and doesn't want to lose her son again. But we see Superman putting on his costume and decides to, know that it's going to be a job for Superman. And we see how Laura's proud of Clark now, knowing he's becoming the man he is now, and saying, "We're extraordinary, then to my laboratory." And of course, we see how Metropolis starts to become shrinking, and Lois going in to sort of be with Superman. And of course, we see now that Metropolis is now going to be part of the shrunken city. And this is the story. So, issue 4, in my opinion, is definitely good. You can kind of tell Superman's more used to being back on Earth than Krypton, and you can kind of tell Lex Luthor's got one scheme and one ace card up his sleeve. So I think this story definitely deserves a thumbs up. Still good, and still alright. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.